Okay, so with a box and whisker diagram, okay, if they don't give you a scale, you really have to be careful, okay, to make sure you draw a scale that will enable us to fit all the values in, okay. And the key values you're looking for are the greatest and the least, okay. In this case, the time, okay, spends writing text messages. Well, we've got the greatest there, haven't we? Okay, 1 minute and 5 seconds. Now, I don't like the fact that we've got a mixture of units here, minute and second, so I changed that, right? We should write that as obviously 65 then seconds, isn't it? Okay, so 65 will be our maximum, greatest, but we need the least. Does it say the least time? And actually, it doesn't tell us, right? Explicitly, it doesn't state what the least time is, but it does say what the range is. Okay, now remember, the range, okay, is the highest, take away the lowest, yeah, or we could use the word greatest, yeah, take away the least. Now, if they're telling us the range then is actually 60, and we know the greatest is 65, we can then think about what the least is from here. So what are we taking away from 65 to get 60? Well, we're just taking 5 away, aren't we? To give the range then to be 60. Okay, so the greatest has got to be 65, the least has got to be 5. So I need to have a scale that goes from 5 to 65, and the only way I think I can do this is if I start at 0 there. Okay, so it's okay to start at 0 because you know we're going to 5, so 0 is sensible, and going up in tens. Okay, so I've got 60 there. Okay, and it just fits in as next. I need 65 for my greatest, so we can put 70 there as well. Okay, so we'll draw an axis there then. Okay, make sure you put an arrow at the end. Now, when it comes to box and whisker plots, I always like to draw the median first. Okay, so the median is 45 seconds. So I sort of, median's in the center, isn't it? So I sort of work from the center outwards. So 45 is here. So I draw in my line for my median. Okay, 45 is there. So draw my line there. Then I go for the lower quarter, which is 23 in this case. So another line then, a 23, which will be, there's 20, so 23 is here. And then I need my upper quartile to work out the final line. So I've got my box. Do they tell us the upper quartile? It's not there, isn't it? But what they do tell us is the interquartile range. Okay, so again, we've got the same idea as we had earlier on, but this time the interquartile range. That's the spread from the lower quartile to the upper quartile. So if we know the lower quartile is 23, the upper quartile then is obviously a lot higher, but it has to be 32 seconds after it, yeah, ahead of it, in order for that interquartile range to be this here. So all I've got to do to get the upper quartile is add 32 onto the lower quartile. So add the interquartile range on and I get 55. Okay, so there we go there. So that will complete my box. And then to draw the whiskers then I just need to go to the greatest time, which is 65. So 65 is there. Now when you draw your whiskers, the line needs to really be about half the length of that. Okay, and so centered nicely. Okay, and then join it up to the box. And then my least then was 5 we established, wasn't it? So 5 is all the way down here. So same situation then. A line about half as high and then join it to the box. Okay. So there it says part B, how many of these text messages took Gwen more than 23 seconds to write? Now that time there is significant because 23 seconds is the lower quartile, isn't it? Okay, and we've got to remember with box and whisker diagrams, they split up into quarters, okay? So we've got a quarter of the text messages here, a quarter of the text messages here, a quarter here and a quarter here. Well, if there's 240 text messages, a quarter of 240, okay, well, if you work that out, a quarter of 240, well, it's Harvard and Harvard again, is 60. So in other words, you can have 60 here, 60 here, 60 here, and 60 here. So how many have we got greater than 23? greater than the lower quartile, while you've got 3 lots of 60s, so it'll actually be 180.